Welcome back to another episode of In the Slot. I'm your host, Jacob Fraser, with my co-host, Keanen Tregaskis. And it's been a couple weeks since we've recorded here, not since our gold medal game preview.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that didn't go our way. We don't need to get into that. But just a great time to be a sports fan right now. You've got trade deadline over, which is what we're going to be getting into a lot of today. And it's March, so March Madness in basketball. You got the World Baseball Classic, and then Formula One season, first Grand Prix was last night. I'm excited for that. So it's just a great time to be a sports fan. But before we get into everything today, how are you doing, Keenan?
Doing pretty good. It's been a minute, but
Yeah.
we're back.
Oh yeah. Well, we had a. I mean, I was going to say an eventful trade deadline, but maybe
It
that's
was an
not
eventful
the right
week.
word.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say deadline day. I think
Yeah.
it was just the Kadri trade that was the big one on deadline day?
Yeah. I
Because
can't
Carlson was
really
the night
think.
before,
Yeah. So was Garland.
and the
Um,
Uyghur was a couple of days before.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Braden
it was a
Shen, I
week. It was a deadline
suppose.
week this year.
I feel like that's the case every week. Like it just the deadline day. Actually, this was something I wanted to get into. I didn't put it
hmm
on our notes, but I want to ask you this just off the top. Should they push the trade deadline time back? Because it's at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Should they push it back to like midnight on Friday?
Nah, because then it's during all the games. That's the reason it's 3 p.m. I mean, you could push it back a couple hours, but it's just to get it over with before the games start for the day, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. But like I'm thinking specifically, I'm thinking about the Garland trade
Okay.
where Columbus was reportedly out on Garland. They had made offers, shown interest, and then they were out. And then Mason Marchment gets hurt that night, and they jump right back in on the Garland trade. So I'm just thinking stuff like that might happen. Like, did
Hmm.
Dylan Larkin get hurt on Friday night, or was it
He
Saturday?
he got a. I don't remember what day it was, but I just remember the headline. He avoided a torn ACL.
Right. But like a guy like Dylan Larkin goes down, suddenly Detroit needs to find someone. And if the deadline's pushed back a few hours, they have a bit more time to do so.
Yeah, but you could make that argument for a day or two as well. Like, oh, it should be
Yeah.
Saturday in case someone gets hurt on Friday. Like they had, it's just an unfortunate time to get injured. No matter
Mhm.
what time or what day the deadline day is, you're still going to have those situations, right? Like all it takes is
Yeah.
someone to get hurt Saturday morning at practice, and now you got that. You're having that conversation again, right?
Yeah. I'm just more like, I guess my thinking is just make it after games that night rather than before.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying for sure. Um, like you could, a team like Calgary selling everyone and suddenly they've got 8 guys left on the bench because they traded everyone during the
Yeah,
game.
like not some. You're gone.
Yeah.
It's the second period.
But yeah, let's get into some of the trades that happened. We mentioned the John Carlson trade there. That was the most shocking one to me.
Yeah, it was because he's been with Washington for so long. I think it was Ovechkin said this is the saddest day of his career because they've been
Mhm.
teammates for such a long time. I understand the business side of it for Washington. You're kind of fading, kind of doing what the Canucks did last year without the drama in terms of such a big year. The season before, now you kind of just dip out. You're just not clicking.
Mhm.
It makes sense. You got a first round plus for him. Great deal for a 36-year-old defenseman. I like it for Washington.
Yeah, I like it for Washington too. Obviously, like it could mess with some of the chemistry in that room, but you're right. Like they seem to be fading a bit here. So I think it does make sense. But for Anaheim, they're adding another offensive defenseman for a team that really struggles defensively. I don't think it makes a ton of sense bringing in
No,
John Carlson. Like obviously it's a veteran
it's a
presence,
very
but
old right side of the defense too, because they
yeah,
got Truba and Gudis as well, and
yeah,
now Carlson, who's older than both of them. And like you said, a poor defensive team. They're very aggressive on the penalty kill, very aggressive on the power play, very aggressive 5-on-5. That defense is coming up right alongside the wingers in the center, basically every rush.
yeah.
I mean, they're doubling down. They play in the same division as Edmonton, so I guess I see why they're doing it. The difference is they don't have Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, good veteran presence in the room for sure.
Yeah.
Someone who's won a Stanley Cup before as they make a push for the playoffs. They're at the top of the Pacific Division right now, which I don't think anyone expected. But
No, but if you look at the way Vegas and Edmonton's seasons have gone,
yeah,
it,
I just
it
like I don't think you expected Vegas or Edmonton to be this like
no,
struggling this much.
like here's the thing: Vegas is a point behind them, but there's Anaheim has six more wins and a
Yeah,
game in hand, which
yeah,
is crazy. Like Vegas is, they are this year's overtime loss merchant.
yeah. Seriously, and they have a crazy lineup that they could put out for overtime too. Eichel,
Yeah, I don't
Marner, and Shea
understand.
Theodore.
I'm not a Vegas guy. I don't understand how they're kind of struggling. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what's going wrong over there.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Let's move to another deal here. We mentioned it as well. Nazem Kadri goes back to Colorado. I'm excited to see this. Colorado play. Are they playing right now, or is the game wrapped up by now?
Game wrapped up. They won in a shootout.
Oh, okay, but yeah, I mean
1
Kadri,
0 in the Kadri era.
and he got an assist on Nathan McKinnon's opening goal in the game.
Of course he did. I mean, they were already the odds-on favorite, and that gap has grown.
Mhm.
From whoever's your second on that list, the gap's gotten bigger, and
Yeah.
it's because Colorado is pulling away again. This is I Was there any retention?
I don't believe there was retention on the Kadri deal.
No, there is.
There is? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just pulling up Elliot Friedman's tweets here.
twenty
Maybe I
percent.
should be looking at
I got
Puckpedia.
the Flames Puckpedia here. It's twenty
Okay.
percent. So they're paying. Calgary's paying 1.4 a year.
And there's what, 5 years remaining on that deal, including
It's
this
done
one?
after 2029, so 4 years including this year's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that's not bad retention. Salary cap's going to be going up quite a bit here
Yeah,
in the next couple of seasons too. So having 1.5 million bucks against your cap for 3 seasons essentially is not the end of the world for Calgary, who's got a lot of building to do ahead
a lot of
of
draft
a
picks.
playoff push. Yeah.
It's a 2028 first, which I think helps Calgary a little more because obviously Colorado's window is right now 2 years down the line. I don't think they fall out of the playoffs, but we've seen what Florida's doing this year. We can talk about that in a minute, but I don't think they're going to be as competitive as they are in 2 years.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. That's the thing. Like people always, I see online, people always upset that their team took a later pick from a contending team, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you never know what that contending team's going to be in 2 to 3 years.
yeah. If their window is now, it could close in two
Yeah,
years. Like look at Vancouver a couple years ago. They traded it first. Look at them now. Washington a year ago to this year. Florida a year ago to this year. Although theirs is top 10 protected. Things happen. You get a couple deep runs in a row like Florida had. All of a sudden you got injuries now,
hmm,
and all of a sudden you're near the bottom. You're the bottom 10, bottom 15 in the league, and that first round pick looks better, but it's also extra value if you do want to trade up as well.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like you can, if your window opens earlier than you expected, then you can use that as a trade chip to bring in
Like
someone.
Montreal last year.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll here, man.
Um, let's quickly touch on these deals here. Braden Chen to the New York Islanders. They were in on a lot of players by the sounds of things, and they end up getting Braden Chen, a good veteran piece that can play really anywhere in the lineup. I feel like that was a good move for them. And then this one was interesting to me because it's Bobby Brink for David Jiricek, 1-for-1. Bobby Brink goes back home to Minnesota, and David Jiricek heads over to the Flyers. But Minnesota, what did they pay for Jiricek a couple of years ago? It was like a first and a second or something like that, and a prospect.
Hmm.
And now they're flipping him for Brink, who's a 25-year-old middle six forward. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but you just paid quite a bit to bring in David Jiricek. Didn't really give him much of an opportunity, and then you're flipping him for a middle six winger.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, how did Yurchek even do with Minnesota?
He didn't do well. Like his problem is his skating. Like he's not a very good skater,
Yeah.
but like yeah, he only got in 31 games over a season and a half.
Yeah, 25 games this year. Didn't even register a point, averaging 11 and a half minutes on ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough when you're a defender and your liability is skating. Like that's like the most important part of if you don't have footwork as a defender, what are you?
Yeah. I mean, like to me at this point because of his skating issues and stuff, like yeah, his ceiling probably is to be like a third pairing defenseman
Yeah,
and just kind of your meat and potatoes chip pucks out defenseman, but he does have a lot of skill. So if he can figure out that skating, like I think he could maybe be a top four guy, but
it's getting close to that. He's not going to figure out the skating part though.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this
it
is his
definitely is.
fourth year in the NHL.
Yeah.
Like it's getting to that line where there's like, okay, he just can't figure it out.
Yeah, it is. Like I kind of draw the line around 25 is where it's like, okay, this guy just is what he is.
Yeah, yeah. 25 or when the ELC's kind of done, that kind of range
Yeah.
is when it's like, okay, this is who that guy is. If you haven't seen like actual progress year to year,
Yeah.
and I think Juracek's at that line right now of no return.
Yeah. I mean, he's only 22, but I don't disagree with you there. Like I think there's a big question mark as to whether he can actually be an impact defenseman in the NHL. And then lastly, we'll just touch on this one as well. Connor Garland to the Columbus Blue Jackets for a 2028 second and a 2026 third. I think a lot of Canucks fans are underwhelmed by the return, but at the end of the day, you're getting off of
A bad
uh,
contract.
I don't know if I'd call it a bad
It's
contract,
just
but not
it's the length though.
yeah,
Like
not a favorable contract for
for where
Vancouver.
Vancouver currently is, that's not the kind of contract you want to have
Mhm.
because you can assume 4 or 5 years you're actually entering a proper competing window for the first time since the Sedin era. You don't want to have that. You don't want to be sitting on that contract because you still got PD, Besser, DeBrusque, Pedersen, who are all locked into long-term deals as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you do want to create that cap space. I'm surprised this was kind of the only one, right?
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's as a fan, that's my bit of like underwhelming is that this was the only big contract the Canucks were able to move.
Yeah. And I think that so with Connor Garland, obviously he didn't have the trade protection. So it's a lot
Yeah,
easier to move him.
I think that set in next year too, didn't it?
Yeah, that no
Yeah,
move set in next year. So that's why they had to get off of him at this deadline.
that's true.
Or I guess they could have waited till the draft as well, but I think the deadline was the right time to do it. But I think in the off season, depending on how things go as far as the draft lottery, things like that, I think in the off season you could see guys like Jake DeBrus, guys like Brock Besser, possibly even Elias Pettersson getting moved at that point because it's easier. I find it's easier to move a guy with a no move clause during the off season
I
when
agree. I
there's
agree.
more teams that have promised to be in a competitive window. Whereas at the deadline, it's like, okay, we know Colorado's in the mix, we know Minnesota's in the mix, and then there's
Dallas and a sprinkling of Eastern teams.
yeah. And so it's kind of if a guy wants to go somewhere and wants to win, it's hard to it limits the amount of teams that he'd be willing to
It
go
does.
to,
Yeah,
and those teams are typically handcuffed as far as cap space during the season.
that's true. But yeah, it just as a fan, you do feel a little underwhelmed when it's only one
Mhm.
of those big trades, and especially when you don't move off of the expiring contracts. Bluger, who is $1.8 million, you thought you could have gotten something for that.
Yeah,
I didn't think Kane was going to get moved. He's not exactly a guy you want to bring in. He's not
yeah,
good anymore, and he's not a good locker room presence either. Yeah, just it's one of those. It's just Vancouver's in such an odd spot because of the contracts that they have. It's similar to Calgary 2 years ago.
yeah.
Like
Very.
the way they constructed their win now roster, just missed the playoffs, and then it kind of all fell apart afterwards. That's what Vancouver's doing right now. And they're kind of one step behind Calgary and fully committing to the rebuild. So I think it could be, they're going to follow in their footsteps a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. But let's move on to this Colton Parayko situation because he was traded to the Buffalo Sabres, and then like a day later, it came out, oh no, he didn't waive his no move clause, and so so I'll talk on the return. Redeem Mertka and a first round pick. I thought Buffalo that would have been an overpay for Buffalo in my opinion. That's a top
Yeah.
10 pick, right shot defenseman, similar style of player to Colton Parayko, who could eventually become that type of player. Plus a first round pick. I didn't love that. I thought that was an overpay, but like let's just talk about this: the teams leaking trades with players that haven't waived their no move clauses. Like, what do you think about that
It's
situation?
it's so stupid. Like the trade isn't complete,
Mm-hmm.
and you're reporting it as it is, right? And then everyone's like, "Oh, the no move clause hasn't come through." It's just like it's unprofessional. And the Blues even ran an investigation and couldn't figure out who leaked it too.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that because so everybody's accusing the Blues of leaking this trade. What came into my mind was I wonder if Buffalo knows that Pareko probably doesn't want to come there because it's hard to
Yeah,
attract players to go to Buffalo. And maybe Buffalo decided to leak it to put a little bit of extra pressure on Pareko to waive his no move clause.
maybe, and that makes sense considering St. Louis ran their investigation.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, I would believe that Buffalo leaked this, and it also afterwards it kind of forced other teams' hands to say, "Hey, Buffalo's looking to actually add," and they did. They made that trade with I think it was Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is on Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, that St. Louis investigation is funny too. They must have hired Mike Babcock to conduct it, go through everyone's phones.
Yeah, give me your phone. Yeah, I was surprised it took as long as it did for Pareko to nix it, though. Like
Mhm.
when it got leaked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw a very similar situation with the Tyler Myers trade too,
That's true, but he
where
accepted it.
but he accepted to Dallas. The
Yeah,
rumor was Detroit originally, and he's come out. I don't know if he said it or someone has come out and said on Myers' behalf that he was open to going to Detroit. He just wanted to see if a preferable destination for him
yeah,
came up, which ended up being Dallas, and that was his preferred destination. But yeah, Vancouver held him out of games for. He
a
hasn't
little
played
while.
since
Yeah,
the Olympic break.
he didn't play a game. Hey,
No.
I only watched last night. It was the only day I was doing the socialist.
Yeah. I watched that game too.
Yeah, yeah, they blew it. Thank God. Um, I do wonder if this is gonna change the mind of general managers and how willingly they give out no move clauses,
Mm-hmm.
because that it had been a big trend in the last 5 years for how often they were handing these out. Like Tyler Myers, he's a bottom pairing defender. Connor Garland is a middle six forward at best, and he's getting one on his 6 year deal. A lot of other Canucks and the Pareko, and there's so many teams are doing this right now, and it handcuffs you for a moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, Pareko could get traded into the offseason to a more preferred destination, like you said with Myers there. But you could always you have more control when a player doesn't have a no move clause or it's a limited no move clause. That I wonder if general managers are going to start holding these back for more of the elite players or players that are going to be penciled into the top six every night.
Right. Yeah. I would expect that they probably will be less willing to hand out full no moves. Like I
Yeah,
think
full no move clauses for
you're
sure.
yeah, I do agree with you that they'll probably still hand out like, you know, a
Like those 10
modified,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
a 10 team list or whatever. But one player that I wanted to point out, like on the Philadelphia Flyers, I do a bunch of rebuilds on NHL 26,
Yeah.
and they've implemented this year in the video game like the full no move clauses, all the no trade clauses, everything. And I was doing a Flyers rebuild, and Nick Seeler has a no trade clause from the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm like, why are we giving Nick Seeler a no trade clause? The guy has 8 points in 60 games this year. He's a very average defenseman, and he's got a full no trade. You can't trade him in the game.
Yeah, he's got a full no trade clause in real life.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it sucks. Like,
This is all on the general manager though, too.
yeah,
Like, Sealer's not a young upcoming guy. He's 32. He's gonna start
I
tailing
know.
off, and he's got a full no move clause.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I think this is gonna be something that general managers are gonna start thinking about when you are locking up your middle six, your bottom six. Do these guys want no move clauses? Obviously, everybody does,
Mm-hmm.
but how important is that to the player? And I think that's going to start becoming a bit of a trend across the next decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, like, in the next, obviously, they just signed the newest CBA, I think, last year, or maybe it
Yeah,
was the year before. But um, I wonder if the next one will have some kind of rule that teams can only have, three or four guys on full no moves.
I think the owners will push for that.
Yeah.
Like if yeah, we can keep beating a dead horse here if we
Yeah.
want, but yeah, I think they'll push for it.
Well, let's get into our trade deadline winners and
Yeah,
losers. Let's kick things off with you. Who's your winner?
my winner is a seller. I think you got a winner is as a buyer, so that's a
Yeah.
good difference right there. Talked about them a bit already. It's the Calgary Flames. When you are able to offload as many large contracts as they do in one deadline week and a half, you got the Rasmus Anderson trade, Mackenzie Weegar, and obviously Nazem Kadri, who we've talked about quite a bit. It's immediately a win. You bring in you have yourself 2 first-round picks in each of the next 3 drafts, 4 seconds in this draft, and 2 in each of the next 2 following that. That is insane. Obviously, this is value built up over more than just this deadline,
Mm-hmm.
but you bring back 3 seconds for Mackenzie Weegar, a young player and a prospect, the first in the Nazem Kadri trade, a first and a second in the Anderson trade. You're setting yourself up very nicely to build a core and build a core fast with lots of players coming up at the same time. This is a good deadline for a seller, and this is what Vancouver should aspire to do in the offseason or next deadline.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't think of them as a winner just because I thought they could have maybe moved off of a couple more guys. Blake Coleman comes to mind, but yeah, I think overall, like amassing the amount of draft picks that they have is huge. And we were talking about this before we started recording. Like they have an opportunity here with Vegas's first as well to use a couple of those seconds and move back into the top 10, get another pick there. So
Yeah. And you still got the offseason that you can move on from Blake Coleman, too.
yeah.
Like, it's not like it's the end of the world here. He's a free agent at the end of the season, and you didn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
You got the offseason. He's signed through 2027.
Yeah.
He's got a chance. You can move Olli Mata in the offseason, too. They can still bring in more draft picks, too.
Yeah,
They're in a
for
good
sure.
situation for a rebuilding team as long as they keep bringing in young prospects or draft picks that they can then use to get top-end talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, that Jonathan Huberdeau contract handcuffs him a little
Yeah,
bit
they're
too.
they're not moving off from that.
Mm-mm.
He's stuck.
Yeah. I'll get into my winner here
Yeah.
before we get into our losers. I've got the Colorado Avalanche. We've talked about them as well. Bringing in Nazem Kadri, Nick Waugh. I think maybe it was a bit of an overpay for him, but they've got him slotted in at their 3C. And I mean, their lineup just looks so deadly. Like
Yeah.
Nishushkin,
thing
McKinnon,
with
Natchez on that top line, and then you've got Brock Nelson, Nazem Kadri, you've got Landeskog, Lehkonen. Like their forward group is insane, and their decor
Mhm.
is really good as well.
Yeah, I'm not as mad with what they lost and the bit of the overpay that it was for Waugh. Because when you are a buyer when you're signing a player, when you're doing anything to bring something in, you have to step out of your comfort zone
Mhm.
to attract that talent, especially when you're in such a win now window like the Colorado Avalanche, who are very clearly the favorites for this season, and their Stanley Cup window is right now, maybe 2-3 years as well. But you don't need those draft picks. You need players right now. You're going to give up what you have to, and you're going to do everything you can to win it this year.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they're my favorites right now for sure to win it.
Easily, I think easily everyone's favorites, especially when they just beat Minnesota today too.
Hmm.
I think you can obviously still argue Dallas or Minnesota can get out of the West if you get hot at the right time,
Yeah,
but they're so clearly the best team in the NHL right now. They're next time we're recording, they're gonna have 100 points. Like they're at
yeah,
95 right now. Nobody is close. They got 9 on Dallas. They got 9 on Carolina.
yeah, man,
It's
that's
their
crazy.
President's Trophy to win.
Oh, for sure.
My loser. We're going over to the East here. It's the New York Rangers. This is a team that everyone thought, oh, they're going to have a bounce back. They bring in a new coach. They got all these players ready to have bounce back years. Well, not actually, because they're all in their 30s, and JT Miller's not a good leader. This has nothing to do with their trade deadline. But you do get rid of Artemi Panarin. Fox and Trocheck are still there. It's one of those that it's underwhelming with the talent that is there, the picks that you could possibly get for players in their 30s. They're not going to have much time at the top of their career left, right? This was kind of the chance to get what you can and run.
Yeah, what I will say, like, so you talked about the coaching change. They bring in Mike Sullivan, arguably one of the best coaches in the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't expect this Rangers team to tear it down. I'm not surprised that they didn't trade Fox. I'm a little like I'm not surprised, but I'm like I expected them to move Trocheck, but at the end of the day, it's not a surprising thing that they didn't because I think they're going into one of those classic retools where they're not going to tear it down. They're going to try to continue to bring in talent that can help them win right away. Like I think they're hoping to bounce back next year and be in
I
the
think
playoffs.
I agree. I think that's what they're doing. Just personally, I think this is a team that needs a true rebuild.
Yeah.
Like they can't retool because the prospects that they've had and the young players that they have, they don't know how to develop them. So
Well,
how are you going to retool?
you can't
Like
rebuild either then. Like they don't know how to
you got to
develop
rebuild the
anyone.
whole organization. The coaching staff and the
Yeah.
scouts are gone too at that point. But it's just I just don't trust them to retool, and especially when the top contracts that you have. Fox is 28, that's fine. Gavrikov's 30, Zibanejad, Miller 32, Shesterkin's 30 now as well.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see how a retool ends up in their favor.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree at all. Like I don't see a retool going well, but I just
Yeah.
think that's 100% the direction that they're headed in.
Oh, probably.
My loser for the deadline, I've got the Detroit Red Wings, just because I think like they're making a push here, and they're in that wild card spot, but like they're fourth in their division, 1 point back of the Montreal Canadiens. I think they could catch up to the Buffalo Sabres and possibly even Tampa if they had brought in something big. I think they needed to add more up front to their not to their top line. Like they've got a good top line, but I think they needed to add a little bit more up front to help with their scoring depth. And so I didn't like that they didn't do that. And I mean, like bringing in Justin Falk, okay, that's fine. Like he's a solid veteran defenseman that is a solid player. But I think like last offseason we heard Dylan Larkin talking about his frustration with Steve
The
Eiserman and
Iser plan.
not bringing in guys to help this team make a true push. And once again, Steve Eiserman just didn't pull the trigger on anything.
Yeah, this is a very top-heavy team. Like you said, they struggled somehow struggled to bring in talent when this is they got the young players there, they've got the
Hmm.
promise there. It's a decor thrown together with like glue and paper clips, and the scoring depth isn't there as well. And when you look at their competition, even the teams outside of them, Columbus and Ottawa look better. Ottawa's on a heater right now because they're getting serviceable goaltending for the first time this year. Columbus is on a heater because they got a new coach and everyone remembered how to play hockey. And the teams in front of them, Montreal and Buffalo, look more complete.
Hmm.
Like they both of those teams have good scoring depth and much better defensive cores. I think Detroit might end up falling out of the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Like they do have a 4 point gap between them and Columbus, 6 points between them and Ottawa, but like just you look at the last 10 games. Detroit's 3-5-2. Both Columbus and Ottawa are 7-1-2. Like if that
Yeah,
continues for the season, obviously like they're not going to go 7-1-2 every for the like
next 20 games.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if
No, I get what
that
you're saying.
yeah,
And
like I just don't see them really doing anything, especially with that Larkin injury.
yeah, and especially with Larkin's comments last year, how it affected the locker room and how it's going to affect the locker room this year
Hmm.
when you have got teams right in your rearview mirror just playing better hockey than you guys.
Yeah,
It's this is on them.
yeah, 100%. Um, let's get into just some news here.
Yeah.
Evgeny Malkin, what were
Dumbest
you
suspension
doing?
what was he doing?
Just two hands, Rasmus Dahlin across the face, gets a 5 game suspension for that. I mean, it's deserved. It's a 5 game suspension easily, but I just don't understand. It wasn't like sometimes you see that happen, and it's like they tried to maybe slash a guy on the wrist or something like that,
That was
and it just rides up his arm and ends up clipping him in the face. That was just a two hand right to the jaw.
that was it wasn't even close. Like that was the dumbest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And then he still tried to fight Darlene. Darlene's like got his hand in his head, like he's like, "Fuck! I just got slashed right in the face." And Malcolm's like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah.
I think about one more piece of news, actual news that's got a bit of a length to it for the season. I think this was the nail in the coffin on the Panthers' 25-26 season. You come into the deadline day sliding down the standings. You're in a bit of a losing streak. 3-7 in your last 10. Bobrovsky's looked terrible this year. The team's a little banged up. They're getting healthier than they were opening night. Rest up. Take your long off season. I expect them to be back next year, maybe with a top pick to their name as well.
Hmm.
I just don't see how they gain 10 points on Boston and also jumped 6 teams as well.
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. Um, yeah, I think after we've talked about this a lot, like after 3 runs to the Stanley Cup final, it's definitely caught up to them. And
Yeah,
I honestly think like as much as everyone wants to win and they want to compete in the playoffs every single year, like I think this is a welcomed off season for this group, and they're gonna be good next year. There's
they
no
will
question.
look back on this year, coming into next year, and think, thank God we finally got good, proper rest because
Yeah,
they're going to be a top team in the Atlantic next year,
and you're gonna have a
assuming
healthy
health.
Barkov.
Assuming health, right?
Yeah, but I think getting Barkov back, like that's gonna be
Oh, that'll be
huge.
big
And
right away.
yeah,
They might have a bit of a goalie problem this offseason too. Like Bobrovsky's a free agent and he's looked terrible.
he'll sign a team friendly deal.
He will sign a team friendly deal, but he's looked bad, is my thing.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just he's been ridden for 3 deep playoff runs.
That could be. And he's also, I think he's 38 now too. That's the other problem.
Yeah,
Like he
Yeah, I
could
think they
just
need to bring in
start
a
to
solid
slide.
backup.
Yeah, they do need a solid backup. Maybe it's a trade. Maybe they bring in. I don't even know.
Nikita Tolopilo from the Vancouver
Topilo.
Canucks.
No, he's too young. Vancouver's gonna hold on to him.
I don't know.
Should we do our teams of the week here?
Yeah, let's get into our team of the week.
All right. We've talked about these teams a lot. I wish we had a counter because I think your team, spoiler, Colorado, they might be at 10 now at this point. But
Buffalo's
I'm
up
gonna
there too.
Buffalo's. I think this is like 3 straight weeks
Yeah.
or 3 straight episodes that we've had Buffalo as the Eastern team of the week, and they're up here again. 6-game win streak. They're tied with Tampa Bay at the top of the Atlantic Division. Tampa Bay has 2 games in hand. I expect them to win at least one of those two. 38 wins across the season. This team is rolling. The break did not stop them at all. Went on a 3-game road trip. Devils, Panthers, Lightning, beat them all. Beat the Golden Knights, the Penguins, who've been good, and the Predators, who have been surging as of late. Haven't allowed more than 2 goals in any of those 6 games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised because I wanted them to be in a playoff spot. It's fun to see new teams get into the playoffs, and Buffalo's had such a long drought. They deserved
Yeah,
it, but I'm surprised that they could end up winning their division.
they could. And it was a slow start for them, too. I think after the first month and a half, it was that same conversation of one more year,
Yeah.
maybe next year, maybe we should rebuild properly again. No, they finally clicked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting to see for sure.
It is.
And they've had the talent for it. Like they have a very deep forward group. They've got a very solid decor as well. That right side is a bit questionable on the defensive end, and obviously that's why they tried to bring in Colton Parayko. But
Yeah.
yeah, they look really good, and I'm excited to see them in the playoffs. I think we can probably pencil them in unless something
Yeah,
crazy
I'm very
happens.
excited, especially if it is that first round matchup of Buffalo Montreal.
Yeah,
That
that'd
would
be
be
a fun
electric.
matchup.
You don't want to see those teams play in the first round because of how good they looked and because they're both better than the Islanders and Penguins there in the Metropolitan. But that would be an electric first round,
Yeah, and both fan bases are willing to travel, especially it's not
especially
a
Montreal. They might take over
yeah.
Buffalo Stadium.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%. Well, I already spoiled yours, but
Yeah, I've got the Colorado Avalanche, as you said. We talked about their deadline moves. Obviously, they bring in Nazem Kadri, as we mentioned. Just great deadline for them. And then they're on a 5-game winning streak after a win over the Minnesota Wild today. Yeah, like there's just no stopping them. And we talked about it. They're our favorites to win the cup. I think they're probably the odds on favorites on betting websites. I'm
probably,
curious. Okay, they for sure
probably,
are. But I'm curious
like
what
how far
the
they are from number 2.
dude. Okay, on this betting app that I use that I won't name because we don't give free promos on this show. um, the Avs are plus 275, and then the
To
Lightning
make
are
the
in
finals?
second to win the cup.
Okay,
Plus 275. The Lightning are second, plus
that's not
375.
surprising. I'm not surprised the Lightning are number 2.
Really? I'm surprised. What?
Here's
Okay,
the
this
thing.
might be more shocking to you. The
Okay,
Dallas Stars are below the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers.
when are the
So
odds? When are these odds from?
right now,
Really?
yeah, like you can bet on this right now.
Huh. Those are bad odds for Dallas. I'm not surprised Tampa Bay is number 2 just because it's the separate conference. Like if you think like every team has to go
Yeah,
through Colorado in the West, right? So I'm not surprised Tampa Bay is number 2. Yeah.
I'm just surprised that it's only a plus 100 difference between
Yeah, okay.
Colorado and Tampa. But then yeah, so the order goes Colorado, Tampa, Carolina, Vegas, Edmonton, Dallas, Minnesota.
Okay.
I guess nobody believes that Dallas or this unnamed betting app doesn't believe that Dallas and Minnesota can get through Colorado, but
Yeah,
they have more faith that the Golden Knights or Oilers can. I don't understand that.
it's weird. I think Oilers get the back-to-back Western champs, a little boost.
Yeah, it's fair, but good odds on Dallas and Minnesota. Maybe I'll take one of these.
I got one more thing before we wrap up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Tampa Bay Buffalo play at 3 p.m. today.
Okay, that'll be a good matchup.
That would be a good one. Though it'll also show where Buffalo is. A big divisional game. They're at home against the first place team based off of points per game played, right? See
Mm-hmm.
what they do against Tampa Bay. See how truly competitive this team will look going down the stretch and into the playoffs.
Dude, this sucks. This slate of games today, they none of them are broadcasts like for us to
In our
watch.
area,
Yeah, none of them on Pacific.
do you not have Sportsnet Plus through Nation Network?
No, dude, I have my own subscription.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Did they give you one?
No, I'm just using Roberts.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be choked for a second there.
I figured you would have had your own there because you've got actual importance. We don't need to talk about our work stuff on the podcast here.
But yeah, we can wrap up there. Yeah, I just before we wrap, I guess I'm just excited for the rest of the season. It's a big push ahead of the playoffs. We've got a little bit over a month to go in the NHL season, about 20
About
games
20
for
games each.
each team. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for
Me
playoff
too.
hockey.
We're getting
And
close to the talking about the eliminated teams here. Vancouver is going to be first.
yeah, dude, Vancouver. Before I know I said
Yeah,
we were
one
going
more
to
thing.
wrap. Well, just Vancouver is 10 points back of the second last place team, the New York Rangers. Do you think they even get 10 points for the rest of the season?
Oh, yeah, because it's Vancouver. They're going to go on some stupid win streak.
They've got 19 games left. Their win percentage is 365.
I think they
So,
get at least. I think they get like 14 points. They always do this. The thing is, I don't have confidence that they can stick to a losing streak because they always have weird win streaks at the end of the year.
well, that game last night, I thought, oh no, they're about to go on a win streak here because they beat Chicago and then Winnipeg, they take them to overtime.
They're on a point streak.
Yeah.
When's the last time they even got back-to-back games with a point?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to go deep into the archives for that. But the other thing, their home record 6-19-5 this
Oh yeah,
season. They've
yeah.
they've
I'm
got an
not going to the game.
8-game homestand.
January 29th, they won. January 31st, they lost in a shootout. That's their back. That's their last two back-to-back points.
Hmm.
You have to go back to their 4-game win streak before Christmas break, that's their last win streak they had.
That was right after the Quinn Hughes trade.
Yeah, and they went on that 4-game heater.
Yeah.
That is their last win streak. That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
3 wins in 2026.
Man, they might not get 10 points.
They're the only team who doesn't have 20 wins on the year.
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy.
Worst home record. Don't have 20 wins. All right, let's wrap this up
Yeah.
before we get depressed here.
All right. Well, yeah, as I was saying, just excited for playoff hockey. We've got some fun ideas for content as far as the playoffs go here. So
Okay.
we'll once we get those solidified, we'll let you guys know about it. But thank you for tuning in to another episode of In the Slot. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've hit 100 subscribers, which is awesome. So thank you guys
100 on
for
TikTok too.
your support. Yeah, 100 on TikTok. So yeah, and check out our socials. And yeah, we'll be back with another episode next week.